There's no shelter big enough for the fallout from this takeover.
But this is not an after party, folks. This is what's NXT.
Support NoDQ.
Welcome everybody to the very first live What's NXT right here on AfterMatch Wrestling. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General Jerry Slaughter.
Good evening, wrestling fans.
And if you notice, the set's a little different.
Yeah.
Got a lot of green back here.
Yeah.
And you can't tell because of the chroma key.
Very fancy shit. Very fancy.
It's super great. We're just trying it out, and I'm sure it'll get better from here, but this was the best we could come up with last minute because I finally figured it out. I figured out how to do that and go live and everything all in one swoop. And here we are, live for the very first time on AfterMatch Wrestling.
We were multitasking mofos watching this episode.
So now that we can go live, we're going to go live with all of our shows whenever possible. So you can tune in tomorrow for the NXT party. That will be live as well. And thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see if I can find this video and see if there's anybody in the chat room. Meantime, yeah, there it is. We start the show with a cavalcade of baby faces coming out to the ring, all to just celebrate. We even had refs in t-shirts over their ref shirts coming out just to celebrate the fact that they won Survivor Series decisively.
Oh yeah.
Decisively.
Well, we had a big weekend for NXT in general. They had the War Games, which went off without a hitch. And that was just a beautiful event. And then you had them just completely just stand out in Survivor Series. And much to my surprise, actually, because I was the one to say, it's like, yeah, NXT is not going to be put over in this thing. But I should have known better since Vince is so at war with AEW at this point that he had to boost up NXT. So,
well, here's what he knows. He knows that the episode of NXT before Survivor Series got a really good bump in the ratings to the point where they finally beat AEW. However, that was mostly due to the fact that a lot of big stars were coming to that show.
Yeah.
Short of doing that every week, the only other option is to create big stars on the show. That's what Survivor Series did, and I like Survivor Series apparently a lot better than a lot of people. I know that most people's opinions of it were a little bit tainted at the end with the main event and it just falling so flat. But I say all the way up until the main event, it was such a really, really good fucking show. Anyway, this was a fall from grace a little bit to me, this whole show. Like, it was a good show, but it's the kind of good show that we're used to from pre-live NXT television.
Yeah.
It wasn't that great of a show. And I guess every week the show getting better and better and better, at some point you have to step back and say, whoa, let's have a regular show here. Make it really fucking good, and then get better every week for the next 6 or 7 weeks.
I think it was also the fact that you weren't actually sitting down to watch the show like I was watching the show. Because you're getting everything set up. If you go back and watch it again here in a little bit, I think you'll see a whole bunch of spots that you didn't see, and you're like, well, damn.
Well, unlike the last 2 weeks, I did not watch it twice.
Yeah.
So that would have been nice, but I had other shit to do. Anyway, we get Undisputed Era come out to interrupt the celebration, and they just want to say that the only reason that NXT was so dominant was because of them, and I beg to fucking differ. The only reason NXT was dominant in any form or fashion because of Undisputed Era was due to one man, and that is Roderick Strong.
Yes.
Red Dragon lost their tag team match. Adam Cole did not fucking matter in the grand scheme of things. Yes, he got a win, sure. But he didn't get a point for NXT.
And what a lot of people said was probably the match of the night for Survivor Series.
Yeah, if it wasn't the tag team versus tag team versus tag team match that ended the pre-show,
yeah,
that was definitely the other match of the night. to me. So I agree. This is just getting Cole some heel heat and setting up, because there's 3 guys in the ring when they're Ciampa, Lee, and Dijakovic.
Oh, Riddle was in there too.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice him. I don't.
Well, Riddle really wasn't doing anything. He didn't even need to be in the ring.
Not really.
He wasn't involved in the match in any way.
You had words between Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole, and you had words from Keith Lee to Red Dragon, the tag team champions, because they're about to have a tag team match for the titles. And we have been waiting for this match for so fucking long. And they start this match, and we go to commercial, and as soon as we get back, fucking Roderick Strong is on the corner. And the commentators are having a desperate time trying to tell us that Bobby Fish is now injured again.
Yep,
he got taken out of this match, walked to the back, but instead of canceling the match, they sent out Roderick Strong. He's stepped in for Bobby Fish before. It's Freebird rules over there in the Undisputed Era. Fine.
Paradockers, he's ready to wrestle.
What the fuck else are you going to do?
Well,
I assume this is a legitimate injury. This is not storyline. Oh. It doesn't make any sense. We still have a regular match.
This was live television. They had to think spur of the moment. And if this is a spur of the moment match that we still ended up getting out of these guys, it was still fucking great.
Yeah, so we saw, just a showcase from Dominik Dijakovic. He didn't get to participate in the 5-on-5-on-5 match at Survivor Series, so he got in this match, and I've got like 4 fucking notes for this.
And this match actually proves that he should have been in there.
He does a time to fly onto Keith Lee, who tells him to do it across both O'Reilly and Strong, who are laying on the mat. He does a single arm power bomb onto O'Reilly with his right hand, and with his left hand does a choke slam onto Roderick Strong. He gets a near fall. He doesn't get a pinfall, but he does a springboard top rope swanton onto both guys on the outside, and that's exactly what I mean. He jumps from the ring onto the top rope and then does a swanton onto both of them. Fucking Dominik, man. And a double choke slam to both guys in the ring, but Cole comes out, Adam Cole, and he gets up on the apron and interrupts. Or no, he didn't. He doesn't interrupt. He comes to run out, and Keith Lee, who was outside, catches him mid-run down the ramp and launches his ass into the crowd.
Pounces him into the second or third row. Takes out a whole group of people.
And I think you were right that was probably Roderick Strong's spot for the night. And now Adam Cole's like, you mean I gotta go fucking through the air?
It's like ribs still hurting. Like, air raid crash, top of the cage, takeover. Was anybody else watching?
Yeah, he was not running very fast. He knew what was coming. Oh my god. Just go watch it. They have got to have a replay on YouTube. Pause this video and go watch that and come back. Oh, if you're watching live, obviously you can't pause, but still, holy shit. That's just enough of a distraction for the high-low in the ring, with the high knee by Roderick Strong and the sweep and the pinfall victory, because Keith Lee was so far away that he was a half a second away from breaking up the pin before the 3 count, but 3 count nonetheless.
O'Reilly and Strong got back up to the ramp, or halfway up the ramp, and O'Reilly finally looked to his right and saw that Cole was in the audience still trying to scramble his way back up to them. He's like, holy shit.
What I like about this is that you don't want to give Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee the tag team titles this soon, right off the rip. Yeah, we wanted to see this match, but honestly, I'd rather have seen it at TakeOver.
You saw a little bit of friction in between them in the match, but then they remembered, oh yes, this is for the greater good. This is the tag team match, and that's when they went back to scrapping with those two.
Yeah, and the ending of the match, you had both Dominik Dijakovic blaming himself for losing because he took the pinfall, but you also had Keith Lee blaming himself for losing because he was so far away from the ring, he should have gotten back quicker.
Mm-hmm.
I like this. Neither one of them is looking at the other one like it was your fault. They both think it was their fault. So this tag team might have a future, and I hope we see them in January at TakeOver. That's when they get the belts.
Yeah.
That would be great. Please and thank you, NXT. So let's move on. An interview backstage with Candice LeRae. and she's talking about Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox and how she considers Tegan Knox almost family, almost blood. She uses the word blood. Why do you have to say that?
Mm-hmm.
There's no blood in this business anymore, right? No more blood and guts. Anyway, she considers this match not, what's her name? Dakota Kai versus Candice LeRae. It's Dakota Kai versus Tegan Knox's older sister. And I'm just like, oh, this is stupid.
Yep.
Just say you're pissed off because she attacked your friend and go out there and beat her ass. And that is, I mean, not to spoiler alert, that is kind of what happens there for a minute. But she seems a little cheerful when she comes to the ring. I'll mention that. But this is later. Any notes about this?
Oh, the match?
No, the interview.
Oh, the interview, not so much. It was pretty much that hokey, I'm going for revenge for my friend thing. Very Steven Seagal-ish, not very entertaining.
Yeah, there's actually a match in between this and Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai. But before that, we get a recap of Lio Rush at NXT TakeOver slapping the face off of Angel Garza.
Yep.
As he comes back through the curtain to the gorilla area, whatever it's called.
The gorilla position.
There you go, gorilla position. Sounds like a sex move. Hiya. We have Shane Thorne versus Mansoor, and they called him Plucky, Mansoor. They replayed him beating Cesaro at Crown Jewel, and I'm like, okay, the last time we saw him and he got beat, they just said that he won the 50-man Battle Royal.
Yeah.
In this case, they actually showed the footage, and I'm like, okay, he's probably going to win this one. But you thought different.
I thought different because of general rule number 3. If you're called Plucky, then you're unlucky. Because usually anytime Nigel calls anybody Plucky, they end up losing.
I think that's an NXT UK rule.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Might as well use it for NXT UK.
Let's see. I've got like one note in the finish. I've got Thorne catching a suicida into a backdrop outside. Like, catches him in midair from the suicida and then lifts him up. And yeah, that was pretty great. But then Mansoor hits the next suicida and then does this springboard neckbreaker getting back into the ring after he throws Thorne in and he stands up.
A very high angle one because
Thorne took it late, and I don't know if he meant it to look as sick as it did, but yeah, he dropped a fraction of a second later than he probably should for a regular neckbreaker, and thus, like, his neck went down first.
Mm-hmm.
Just, oh. Anyway, yeah, it was all right for a match to build up Mansoor for getting beat by somebody that they're actually going to push.
I have no idea what they're going to do.
It's going to be several months before we have another show in Riyadh.
I think he's still in the weight ranking for a shot at the cruiserweight belt if you want to go for that.
It doesn't seem to make any sense, honestly, at all who gets to vie for the cruiserweight championship. So I'd sooner seen Shane Thorne for some reason vying for the cruiserweight title because he lost. Okay, we're gonna get the match later, but I'm just gonna announce it now. We've got Akira Tozawa versus Lio Rush for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Akira Tozawa got the triple threat match and lost. He the last match that he was in, he fucking lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is he getting the championship match? Like, why isn't it somebody that won, like Angel Garza?
Sometimes it doesn't matter, like, wins or losses. It just matters how great you look in the ring. And I think at this point they're just trying to... They want to give Hector Garza a break, but at the same time...
Hector Garza?
Yeah, well, Hector Garza Jr. That's what... he's one of the... he's Hector Garza's son, so...
I don't think I'd put Mansoor in the 205 Live division at the moment. They've got enough people without a guarantee of having a show every week. You know what I mean?
So would you have him challenge for a North American title then?
I wouldn't have him challenge for any title. Not right now.
Tag belts?
Maybe find him a partner. So now we're on to Candice LeRae versus Dakota Kai, who is carrying to the ring Tegan Knox's leg brace.
New music, new attitude. I love this Dakota Kai more than I like the old one.
And you did like the old one, so there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's something in common with me. You don't see me liking many baby faces on these shows and whatnot, but Dakota Kai just kind of won me over because she kind of had this like 80s Punky Brewster kind of vibe.
Oh, dude, Io Shirai won you over too. Like, it doesn't take much for a heel turn to win you over. Saying.
No. See, there's where you're a little wrong. Okay, when it's a great heel turn, Io Shirai's heel turn, that was great. Finn Balor's heel turn, that was fantastic. Dakota Kai's was sick, and it was awesome.
So she has that spot where she spins somebody that's laying on the mat whose legs are just slightly outside.
Mm-hmm.
Around into a kick to the head. She misses the first one, but the second one she decides instead of kicking her in the head, she spins her head first into the fucking ring post.
Yep.
That's one note. And then she ties her up on the bottom ropes with her arms, going up above the bottom rope, kind of like a chicken wing. And then does that running pie wash. I thought this was great because if she sets her up in the corner to do it, no matter if she's freshly heel or not, people are excited about the fact that she's a heel. So her doing that run all the way around half of the ring to hit the pie wash, the crowd's going to pop for that.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, it was way better looking, and the crowd, I don't think, popped. They more like gasped.
Mm-hmm.
And
she does it again, too. She does it twice in this match.
I didn't see the second one, but I did see the chiropractor, which is, it's like
It's a long blower, more.
Well, yeah, but it's the setup is like, I'm trying to think of what does Adam Cole call the so it's not a Canadian destroyer, but it's set up like a Canadian destroyer with the knees on the back.
So, sunset flip, yeah.
Lung blower.
Yeah.
Double knee lung blower. Yeah, it's sweet, and she should have gotten the pinfall for that.
And
so sweet, I can't figure out what to call it.
She actually nailed it well.
Yeah, she nailed it superbly. That's exactly how it's supposed to look.
Yeah.
Anyway, she gets a near fall. Larry kicks out. And then she goes for a suicida on the outside and gets caught in the head with the knee brace. And Dakota Kai gets disqualified. So Candice LeRae wins.
Kind of needed to happen.
Yeah, I guess. Make the feud go on a little... Like, you don't want to end the feud here.
Because they need to set up for the post-match beatdown for Candice LeRae again. Like, just getting annihilated by Dakota Kai, only for Rhea Ripley to come out for the save.
Yeah. So we get to see Rhea Ripley for the first time tonight.
Mm-hmm.
A nod for later. And she comes out to help LeRae, and that's it. Like, honestly.
She barely even gets... She doesn't get any offense in on Dakota Kai, because Dakota Kai, like, runs into the ring, then runs back out and runs out.
Yeah, I mean, she just leaves, so maybe this is setting up Rhea Ripley versus Dakota Kai, and then eventually Dakota Kai versus Tegan Nox. That's the match.
Yep.
After this, we get an interview backstage with Tommaso Ciampa about the main event tonight, which has officially been made. It's going to be him versus Finn Balor.
That's something we didn't discuss during the opening, because we skipped right to a tag team match. Balor came out and...
Well, yeah, they had words and they set up a match.
Yep. Because Ciampa told him, they call you the prince, well, meet the king.
Yeah. It was simple.
Yeah.
It's just hyping you for the main event.
But
again, they do a really good job of this.
Even then, it had me looking at you like, we're getting this tonight. We're getting Dijakovic and Lee versus Red Dragon, and we're also getting Ciampa versus
Finn Balor
in one night.
And I also figure we're also going to get a video promo or an interview from Finn Balor later as well.
Mm-hmm.
But in the meantime, we've got a promo video for Cameron Grimes. This was really good.
Yes,
this was really good. It was a promo. Like, they asked him questions, and he said some shit, and they showed some footage, and
he made note naturally of his 8-second victory, or I think it was like
apparently it's the quickest victory in NXT history.
Yep.
He's got a couple of those instant finisher victories. People forgot, and then he came in. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, he nailed the second one. Anyway, Cameron Grimes. I'm hoping we'll see him next week. This tends to be a trend for NXT. If we see a video promo for somebody, we'll probably see them next week.
Mm-hmm.
But we shall see. We get a video package for Rhea Ripley. They love this woman.
Yes.
And I'm like...
And rightfully so.
I'm like...
Welcome aboard.
Yeah,
welcome aboard the rest of America.
She comes out to save Candice LeRae in the Dakota Kai match. She gets a video package for herself here, and then spoiler, she's gonna show up again before the night's over. Meanwhile, Akira Tozawa versus Lio Rush for the Cruiserweight title. This was kind of fun. Looked like they had a little bit of a botch spot where Akira Tozawa, if I can say his name right.
Stupid.
Yeah, he was a little bit loopy in the middle of the ring and couldn't get up for a spot. And thank goodness, because if he was loopy, if the spot we have ended up seeing was what he was supposed to do, yeah, he shouldn't be doing that while loopy.
Nope.
He is like the king of the German suplex, by the way.
Oh yeah, his deadlift suplex is just great.
The Japanese German king.
Mm-hmm.
You got any notes on this match before I drop some of these high spots?
It's pretty much anything I was already expecting out of Lio Rush, but I was actually expecting Garza to show up at some point. He just never did. So, did I expect Tozawa to walk off with the belt? No, because that's going to be Garza or possibly be Swerve. But right now, it's not Tozawa's time.
They're building up Lio Rush as a really dominant but somehow still sort of underdog champion because he's so small.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the moves he pulls off, like I never watched NXT or 205 Live, so I don't know if they showed him off well over there, but they're definitely making him look dominant here.
Well, I saw a lot of his matches in Combat Zone Wrestling before he came over to WWE or NXT, and he's really impressive there, which is why I was wondering why he was being made the mouthpiece for Bobby Lashley at that point, you know? So, but I guess that's what it was, because the fact they didn't really have a spot for him, and the Cruiserweight division wasn't really taking off.
I think Bobby Lashley needed a mouthpiece, and they just put him with him because he was so good on the mic anyway.
Yeah.
Just do it. Why not?
He's able to be obnoxious like that.
Yeah, and since they're both black, it makes sense, right?
Oh, of course, because all black people stick together. Black unity.
My first high spot note here was insane. Let me preface this. It was insane. Tozawa catches Lio Rush on the apron and German suplexes him off of the apron. And if you think, a really well done soft, but no, he throws his ass.
Yeah,
and Lio has to backflip into landing on his front in order to not die.
He initially missed this, and they showed it on the instant replay. The instant replay angle was even better because it was far away, and you got to see him just fly almost up the ramp.
Yeah, and Tozawa lands hard too. Both of them just barely beat the 10 count getting back in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had Tozawa counter the come up. This was after a failed come up where he wasn't standing, and Lio Rush literally jumped off of the ropes with his ass and landed on the mat.
Yep.
And then sold that obviously, it was countered. And you know what? It looked fine. It looked like
it was strategy.
It looked like he thought the dude was going to be standing, but he wasn't, and he just landed wrong.
It was very Art of War. Should we see your enemy attacking? Lay down.
Well, he tries it again, and instead gets a snap German off of it, and then another German into the bridge for the near count. See, Rush counters the Senton bomb that is very reminiscent of Ruby Riott, the way she comes down where it just looks like a cannonball coming down on you. Only he lands on Lio Rush's legs, so he gets the knees to the back, and then goes up top and hits the final hour to Tozawa as he's getting up. So he lands on
congratulates her.
That she beat Becky Lynch and she beat Bayley at Survivor Series and won the main event, but she didn't beat Ripley, and the next time Ripley beats her, it's going to be for the NXT Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm. And Baszler, well, she tells Baszler, we can do this now if you want.
Yeah, Baszler says, what does she say? I don't even remember.
That she'll tap or nap just like everybody else.
Colin says our audio is fucked. I have no idea what that means. I will try and fix that. How about now? It stopped. There, it's gone. Oh, that was probably before I did whatever I did. But anyway.
Yeah.
That's what you get when you go live, folks. Hopefully it doesn't ruin everything. Anyway, yeah, I'm talking about Baszler and Rhea Ripley. Sorry, just got me all fucking fucked up.
Like she said, she'd either tap or nap like everyone else, and Ripley's like, let's do it right now then.
Yeah, why don't you get back in the ring and do it right now? Well, it's because you know if you do, I've got to drop you. And then she drops the mic, and there you go. Okay, got my memory back.
There you
go. We get a video of Damian Priest. He's in the trainer's room. I guess this must have been after Survivor Series.
What? No, it was after War Games.
And yet he was still in the Survivor Series 5-on-5-on-5 match instead of Dominik Dijakovic, even though he had, spoiler folks, cracked ribs. And yet still he is going to be in a match next week. Against whom?
Killian Dane.
Killian Dane. So we get that to look forward to. In the meantime, we are on to the main event. We've got Tommaso Ciampa versus Finn Balor. This is not a number one contendership match, but it might as well fucking be.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole match you expected Johnny Gargano to come out and do something.
Yeah, Gargano's been absent from NXT television, so yeah, granted he's not medically cleared, but I don't think that would stop him from, running in possibly with, his injuries or whatnot, and doing something to cause a distraction or causing a no contest, but we end up getting a pinfall in this one.
Yeah, no kidding.
From a completely different outside source.
I mean, there was fuckery. Don't get me wrong, but there was a decisive pinfall.
There need to be fuckery to, keep what's going on right now going.
It was a basic match there for a minute, and then they end up outside, and Ciampa counters the DDT, that 1916 DDT.
1916.
He counters that and hits an air raid siren onto the mat on the outside. Like he was about to catch a DDT on the apron and be out like Gargano's been. Anyway, they go back in the ring. He catches Balor up top. He catches Balor coming in at the 9 count and hits Project Ciampa, gets a near fall. And then goes for a fairy tale ending. Balor counters with a double stomp and a drop kick into the corner. So he's going to go up top and hit the coup de grace, but Ciampa catches him up there and hits an air raid siren off of the middle rope, but only gets a near fall. That's when Cole comes out. And he interrupts Ciampa trying to put on the fairy tale ending again, and then Balor hits Eye of the Hurricane.
Yep.
That elbow drop across the chest. Only this time it was onto the NXT Championship, because Cole dropped it.
Jessica didn't know what to do at that point. She's like, I can't disqualify him.
He didn't use it. It was there because she didn't get rid of it or didn't see it to get rid of it in time. Anyway, he literally gets a near fall while Ciampa's laying across the title. But Ciampa kicks out. And then, let's see, Cole, I think he hits a kick.
It was almost like an enziguri
on Ciampa, who's leaning through the ropes while the ref is putting the title away on the other side of the ring.
And that sets up for 1916 and a pinfall.
And then we have Cole posing, because he's, I guess, an idiot. He gets back in the ring and poses with his UE, and Balor does the finger guns at Ciampa, only for Cole to get comfortable and Balor to kick him in the head. overhead kick just like he did with Johnny Gargano, and he's not with anybody. He's not playing favorites. He's just an asshole.
So, something else that kind of struck me about it too, he didn't even do that whole heel or number one contender thing where he went after the belt or looked at the belt in any way.
It's not about the belt for him.
It's not about the belt. It's about him just showing dominance. You don't have to be champion to be a dominant competitor in NXT. Like, Keith Lee showed that over the past weekend as well. So
we had Balor flex into the entrance, and that was the end of the show. Like, it was good, but I think it was one of those falls on the roller coaster where now we start getting better shows every week.
Well, now we're going to
start. So good you can do.
We're going to start building up momentum again going into the next takeover, which will be on a Sunday. Which is just crazy. It'll be the first takeover that we have on a Sunday.
Times are a-changin'. So that brings us to the end of the main event. And here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5-star rating system. And Jerry, out of 5 stars, where do you rate this main event?
I'm going to give it 3.5. There wasn't there wasn't a number one contender stipulation to it. The match ended with a little bit of, fuckery, if you will, and it doesn't really explain what's going to happen next. At this point, I'm actually hoping Johnny Gargano gets reintroduced into it, and we get a fatal 4-way match versus any other kind of number one contenders match. Just put all 4 in there because they each are staking claim to be the main guys in NXT, so that would just make the most sense. Hell, if you want to make it a 4-way elimination match, that'd be really cool too. But I think if we just had a fatal 4-way match for the belt, that'd be brilliant.
Israel Diaz gives it 3 stars. The Cleaver Colin Andrew gives it 2.25 stars. The Holiday Christopher Mace gives it 3.25 stars. Anybody else out there in the chat room, if you want to rate this, I will read it. And we will also get to your questions at the end of the show like we always promise. And sometimes forget to do. He'll remember. He's got the memory. I give it a 3.5.
Yeah.
It was good for what it was. It was slightly predictable.
It wasn't. It could have been a takeover style match, but I think they kind of held back on it.
Yeah, definitely hold back because this probably won't be the last match because there was fuckery. So There you go. It was a fine way to end the show, but nothing spectacular. 3.5.
Well, also you could possibly see, even though he got kicked in the head, you could also see Cole and Balor versus DIY down the road as well.
This is true. So that brings us to the end of this episode of What's NXT. Thank you for joining us. Please join us tomorrow for the NXT party. We'll do it live again. As long as this shit still works, we will do it live again. And I'm not sure when. I don't think it's going to be right after the show, but it's going to be a lot earlier than we normally do it.
Because we're going to have some Thanksgiving Day, and then we're going to watch the show.
And then we're going to go live and review it. So there you go. You can get stuffed on turkey and fall asleep watching us review NXT UK. Or fall asleep watching NXT UK
or you
and
can watch
us review it.
Or
you
can watch us pass out live on YouTube from being pulled from food.
Yeah, so if you want to join us on a future episode of NXT UK, join us tomorrow. Just watch the show. If you've got Skype, we will get you on the show. You can join us on the big screen. Come have a spot of NXT with us, speaking of tea. Super thirsty, folks. You can find me on Twitter. Go to NoDQ.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. Or if you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. As always, the R stands for restricted. You can also find the gentleman Fuckbomb on Twitter.
At gentleman_JSJ, or that's it direct to general. I'm not sure anymore.
It's either general_JSJ or gentleman_JSJ. Either way, you can find the gentleman on Twitter.
And also my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR.
The exclamation point!
Somewhere in Ohio, the Cleaver is holding up a piece of paper.
I'm sure we'll get a message here in a moment with a bunch of exclamation points.
Yeah. If you want to join us there, we have a whole bunch of different discussions and memes. One of the main discussions going on tonight, though, was about Mauro Ranallo not being here.
Yeah, we didn't mention that on the show, but it is worth mentioning.
Yeah, we should go ahead and talk about that now real quick.
Yeah, fuck Corey Graves. That's all we need to really say.
Yeah, but fuck Corey Graves.
That's like horrible. And then I read the apology that he put out. There's no fucking apology. That was like you didn't even mention the person or why or what. Like you didn't mention any. Like yeah,
I was sitting there watching that Keith Lee Dijakovic versus Undisputed Era match. I'm thinking, God, you would have had a field day with this match, especially with Adam Cole getting knocked into next week. So
yeah, I think it felt like Corey Graves sent a memo of the situation to a lawyer and had a lawyer print him out an apology letter to tweet.
Yep.
Anyway, fuck Corey Graves, and we move on to what? Oh yeah, you can follow me on Instagram now at osborne.stefan. There you go. Mm-hmm. I don't have any content, just a profile picture, but I won't clog your news feed, so come follow me. You can also follow me on Patreon if you want to help with the show and making it better with the green screen and shit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any ideas on what we could put up there other than a weird-ass NXT logo, I was thinking like dinosaurs strategically placed to bite our heads off.
Or we just use whatever kind of theme for the show that we feel,
Anyway, I think it looks really cool, but let us know what you think.
I think it looks awesome, because I'm looking at this and not looking behind me.
Yeah, if you don't have social media, you can also leave down in the comments your email address if you want us to get a hold of you to do a future episode of the NXT party. That's where we have guests. That's where we have you guys. The whole reason that we did NXT UK reviews was because we wanted a platform where we could bring people on the shows that were fans that don't get to do shows.
Mm-hmm.
All you got to be is a fan. Message us. We've gotten so many people in the NXT team. It's crazy. It's surreal. Honestly, it's surreal. But, yeah, join us tomorrow, if you can, after the turkey. In the meantime, if you like our videos, click the like button over here underneath me. If you like all of our videos, please click the subscribe button that's over there underneath Jerry. We want to get to 1,000 so that we can be monetized. Honestly, I want to get to 1,000. I just want to see if I can do it. I can probably make like 50 cents a month, but I want to see if I can get to 1,000. Anyway, we are going to work for that, though, and try to improve the show. Again, send us your suggestions on how to do so. In the meantime, for the General Jerry Slaughter...
Is there any questions?
That's why he has the memory, and I don't. Let's see if there's any questions. But not the skills to fill in the dead air.
Yeah.
Sing something, Jerry.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my right tongue gal.
Colin says Cole versus Dunn was match of the night.
Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you'll lose me, and you'll be left alone. So, baby, telephone and tell me I'm your own.
Holiday says Grimes should have won the breakout tournament. Well, obviously.
Yeah.
Fucking obviously. He was right there. Mark's Review says, what's up, guys? I got the volume turned down. Be sure I'm just about to sit down and watch NXT, but I couldn't miss the big live debut. So I'm just dropping some love, and I'll watch the show tomorrow. Well, thank you to everybody that watches after the fact. Yeah. That's why this is AfterMatch, because I make a habit of watching all my shows after the fact, because I'm always working and shit. But not anymore. Anyway. And then all the problems with the mics, and there wasn't really any questions. Any other questions?
I guess so.
Chris Mace wants to do the show tomorrow, and we might do that.
Okay, might as well.
Oh, here we go. Chris says, should Baszler versus Ripley main event the next takeover? Easily!
Oh, yes. That should be the
Easily.
That should be the first female takeover main event.
I think that was a really good question, and it's a really easy response. Fucking easily. Come on. I know there's probably going to be a really good men's main event.
You know what's great? You know what's great about this feud? It's a feud that we've been talking about like 6 months before it even happened. The second we saw Baszler and second we saw Ripley kind of come into the fold from NXT UK. And then we saw Baszler, we're like, God, these two still have to wrestle at some point.
Well, there's a theme here, because we also said the same thing initially about Keith Lee and Matt Riddle, and then about Keith Lee and Dominic Dijakovic, and in the last 3 weeks, we've gotten both.
Mm-hmm.
So...
somebody's watching us. Somebody likes us.
Or we're just that basic, and we want what everybody else wants, or what they are projecting for us to want.
No,
Anyway.
we tell them what they want.
We tell them what to do. I tell you what, I wish that was true, because then maybe they just hire us and skip the middleman.
Do we think that's going to be when Baszler finally drops his title, though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baszler's been long overdue for how many times in the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, 2 or 3 years, I think she has been talked about when they're bringing people up from NXT, and it never happens. Especially after they added Jessamine Duke and Marina Shafir to her entourage there, because they would kind of flounder by themselves, honestly, in NXT, because they are not that great. So we've been talking about Baszler getting called up, and it's about damn fucking time, honestly. Just do it now, and give the belt to Rhea Ripley and let her dominate NXT for a while. Because holy shit.
Do you think Baszler? So you think Baszler would call up, but the Duke and Shafir would just kind of be left behind?
Maybe they're ready to be left behind by now. We haven't really seen them a lot in the last 6 or 8 months.
I think they're in that.
Twice.
I think they're in that number one contenders match to go against.
And they look super clunky.
Yeah.
So they'll be fine. Call up Shayna. It's time.
If anything, put the two of them against each other. Maybe one of them will pull off a victory.
Colin Andrews says, so what if Bobby is really hurt? Same as before.
Oh, like Bobby Fish was just a glorified trophy carrier for the longest time, because Roderick Strong and Kyle O'Reilly were the champions for a long time until Bobby Fish actually healed back up.
Yeah.
So the only thing different now is the fact that Adam Cole is in there as a champion, and then we also have the North American Championship belt also in the mix. So.
Control C, Control V. All right, I think that brings us comfortably. Wait, Chris says once Baszler loses the title, should she go to the NXT UK to win their women's title? Absolutely not. She needs to go to Raw or SmackDown.
She needs to go up there and start building up the women's division, if you can even call it that, if it's Raw and SmackDown.
Put her on Raw and put her against Becky Lynch. And let her beat Becky Lynch.
First night there.
Anyway, for the General Jerry Slaughter, I am the Wizard of NoDQ, Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you.